In the previous lecture, we started to discuss about spatial coherence, and there we saw that for any point P1, which we considered as P1, so for any point P1, the point P2 must lie within some finite area. So we took P1 as one point and P2 as another point. So for any point P1, the point P2 must lie within some finite area surrounding the point P1 in order to have a good phase correlation. So P1 and P2 point, which we considered in the previous lecture, in order to have a good phase relationship, in order to have a good phase correlationship between each other, these 2 points, they must lie within some finite area, and that area is called as the coherence area. There we also discussed about the longitudinal coherence length. So the distance between the points P1 and P2, that is termed as the longitudinal coherence length. And in this article, in this lecture, we are going to find out the formula of the longitudinal coherence length. Now the spatial coherence of an extended source of light. So here we are going to consider an extended source of light. So we will study spatial coherence. And spatial coherence is usually studied with the help of Young's double slit experiment. For the case of extended source, the spatial coherence is studied using the experiment, which is Young's double slit experiment. So we will make the light from extended source to fall on double slit, and then we will see the pattern which is observed on the screen. So in the case of Young's double slit experiment that we did in the previous semester, there we just took one point source and we found out that interference pattern is observed on the screen using the Young's double slit experiment. But over here we have extended source of light, and we have already studied that extended source means that there are large amount of, or you can say infinite number of point sources present in the extended source of light. So here we will be having extended source which is kept in front of the double slit. So the experiment that we did in the previous semester, in that case we had just a point source, and the light from that point source was made to fall on the double slit, and that was the Young's double slit experiment that we studied. But over here, to study spatial coherence, we will take the extended source. We will keep the extended source of light in front of the double slit. So extended source consists of large number of point sources. So here I am considering only 2 such point sources. So these point sources are a part of the extended source of light. So I am considering just S and S prime. So these are the point sources. So extended source consists of large number of point sources, and all these point sources are independent of each other. So this S prime and S, they will act as independent point sources. So they are a part of extended source of light which we have kept over here. So there will be other point sources also, and light will be falling on the double slit from those point sources also. But for time being, we are just considering S prime and S. To calculate the longitudinal coherence length, we are considering just 2 point sources over here. So S is kept just opposite to the point O. So O is the center point, and in this case we are making the light to fall on the double slit, and over here this is the screen, and we will just observe the capital O point. So we will just look at the capital O point. So we will see what kind of fringe will be observed on the O point from these 2 point sources. So light from S source will fall on the double slit, and then it will fall on the O point. So light from S will fall on S1 and S2, and it will go in all the directions. Using the Huygens principle, it will go in all the directions, but we are just considering the light rays which are reaching O point on the screen. So here I have just drawn these 2 light rays only. As well as from the S prime source, S prime point source, light will come from this point source also. It will fall on S1 and S2, and it will go in all the directions using the Huygens principle. And here we are just considering O point. So we are just considering the light which is coming from S prime point and it is reaching O point through these double slits. So we are just considering the O point. So first of all, if we consider the S point on the screen, S point source on the screen, and over here also one more thing, that S and S prime, they are kept, we are taking the distance between S and S prime is equal to small l, and the distance between the extended source and the double slits, extended source and the double slit, they are kept at a distance of capital D, and also the distance between the two double slits is equal to small d. Now we are considering first this S point source. So light from this point source will reach S1 and S2 and then it will reach the O point. Since O point is exactly opposite to that of S point, as you can see in the diagram, this O point is exactly opposite to S point, so there will be no path difference between the two light rays. So there are two light rays which are reaching O point from the point source S. So this is the first light ray and this one is the second light ray. Since O point is exactly opposite to that of S point source, so there will be no path difference. So the path traveled by this light ray, first light ray, and the path traveled by the second light ray will be exactly the same. So path difference will be equal to 0. So at O point we will get a bright fringe. So we will get a bright fringe at O point due to the point source capital S. So there will be other types of fringes also. There will be a dark fringe and then again a bright fringe, then again a dark fringe, but we are just considering O point. So at O point we will have a bright fringe due to the light coming from S point source, and above and below this point we will have a dark fringe due to the same point source S, and so on. Now we are going to consider this S prime source. So S prime source, light from this source will also reach point O on the screen, and you can see that the light rays, two light rays which are coming from S prime point source, they do not have the path difference is equal to 0. The point source S is exactly opposite to that of O point which we are observing on the screen. So they are completely opposite, therefore the path traveled by the two rays was exactly equal. But in the case of S prime point source, the two light rays, this is the one light ray reaching point O and this one is the another light ray reaching point O on the screen. So you can clearly see over here that S prime S1 distance, this distance is less as compared to this distance. So this distance S prime S1 is less as compared to S prime S2. So obviously there will be a certain path difference between the light rays, first light ray and the second light ray. So this distance is equal to this one. So that's obvious that S1O is exactly equal to S2O because O is at the center. So this distance, this one distance is equal to D by 2 and this distance is equal to D by 2 because S1, S2 is equal to small d. So this distance is exactly half. So this is D by 2 and this is also D by 2. So this distance, this one S1O is exactly equal to S2O. And in the case of S prime, the light ray, first light ray travels this distance S prime S1 and then from S1 it reaches O point. So this is the path traveled by the first light ray from S prime point. And then the second light ray travels this distance S prime S2 and then S2O. So this is the path traveled by the second light ray from this point source S prime. And you can clearly see that S prime S1 is less as compared to S prime S2. So S1O is exactly equal to S2O, but S prime S1 is less than S prime S2. So obviously there will be a certain path difference between the first light ray and the second light ray which is coming from S prime point source and reaching point O on the screen. So there is a certain path difference. So there is a certain path difference between the light rays which are reaching O point from the point source S prime. But there is no path difference between the light rays which are reaching O point from the point source S. So there will be a bright fringe due to the point source S. But S prime, the path difference of the light rays will decide that whether at O point we will have a bright fringe or a dark fringe. So according to the path difference, there will be a bright or dark fringe. So let's suppose that the distance L is kept in such a way that the path difference between the light rays coming from S prime point and reaching the point O, the path difference between these two light rays is equal to lambda by 2. So if you have only one source, so like in the previous semester that we did, if we have only one point source, then at O point we will have a bright fringe. And if you will start increasing the distance between the two sources S and S prime, so if S prime is exactly kept on the point source S, we will have a bright fringe. But if you start increasing the distance between S and S prime, then the path difference between the light rays coming from S prime point source will start increasing, and at a particular point it will become equal to lambda by 2. So according to this distance between S and S prime, we will have the path difference between the light rays coming from S prime point. So as you will increase the distance more, then the path difference between the light rays will also increase. So that is just mathematics. So there will come one point when the path difference between the light rays coming from S prime is exactly equal to lambda by 2. And in that case, if the path difference is lambda by 2, in that case at O point we will have a dark fringe. So S point will make its own interference pattern on the screen. This point source S will make interference pattern on the screen of its own. So due to S point we will have a bright fringe, and S prime point will also make its own interference pattern, because we have already said that S and S prime, they are independent sources, they are independent of each other. So S prime point will make its own interference pattern on the screen, and we have kept this distance L in such a manner that the type of fringe at O point due to S prime point, the type of fringe at O point due to S prime point source is a dark fringe. So we increase the distance between S and S prime in such a manner that this distance L is in such a way that the light rays from S prime point reaching the O point have a path difference of lambda by 2, and in that case at O point we will have a dark fringe due to the point source S prime. So interference pattern of S prime and S in that case will be complementary. They will be complement to each other. So they will be complementary to each other means wherever we will have a bright fringe due to S, at that same point we will have a dark fringe due to S prime, and wherever we will have a dark fringe due to S, at the same point on the screen we will have a bright fringe due to S prime. Means that this distance, by increasing this distance, we have reached a particular length such that the interference pattern on the screen will completely vanish. So we have increased the distance between S and S prime. We have kept this distance in such a manner that no interference pattern is observed on the screen. And in the previous lecture we have discussed that there must be a phase correlation. There must be a good phase correlation between the 2 points. Only then interference pattern is observed on the screen. So the visibility of interference pattern for visibility of interference pattern to be good, the phase correlation between S and S prime must also be good. So for a good visibility of interference pattern, the S and S prime must have a good phase correlation. Since we are not getting a good visibility, the length between S and S prime, this length is in such a manner that interference pattern vanishes. So if interference pattern is vanishing up to this much length, so when this much length is achieved, the interference pattern has vanished, means S and S prime, they do not have a good phase correlation. But if you will decrease the length, then the visibility of interference pattern will improve. It will start improving when you will decrease the length. So in that case, we will start having a good phase correlation. So this is the limit of the length. This is the limit of the length up to which we will have a good visibility of interference pattern. But when you will achieve this much length, exactly this much length, then no interference pattern will be observed. We consider an extended source of light SS prime of width L and placed at a distance of capital D from two slits. If only S point is set to illuminate the slits, so if we have only S point source, then the interference pattern of good visibility is obtained on the screen. So that we have already did in the previous semester. But S1 and S2 are illuminated. These two slits are illuminated by other points on the extended source of the light also. So in the case of extended source, we do not have a point source. We have large number of point sources. So in the case of extended source, these two slits are illuminated by other point source or by other point sources also. Thus there occurs a spread in the fringes. So the interference pattern, the visibility of interference pattern starts decreasing. So the visibility of interference pattern on the screen is reduced considerably. So in the case of extended source, the visibility of interference pattern is reduced. Now we consider, what do we want to find is, we want to find this length. That what is the expression of this length? Because when the distance is less than this length, the distance between S and S prime is less than this length, then we have a good phase correlation, and in that case the visibility of the interference pattern will be good. So we want to find the expression of this length. So first of all, for S point source, SS1 is equal to SS2 and S1O is also equal to S2O. But for S prime S1 is not equal to S prime S2. So S prime S1 is not equal to S prime S2. So fringes produced due to S prime, the fringes which are produced due to S prime will be slightly displaced. So fringes due to S prime will be slightly displaced with respect to the fringes which are produced by S point sources, since they are kept at a certain distance apart. Therefore, interference pattern will also be displaced for the point sources. For these two point sources, the interference pattern will be displaced slightly. But we will consider a length between S and S prime when interference pattern will completely vanish, and it will completely vanish when the bright fringe of one will overlap with the dark fringe of the another, and vice versa. So in that case, the interference pattern will vanish, and it will vanish only when the path difference between the light rays reaching O point from S prime point will be equal to lambda by 2. So path difference between the two light rays reaching from S prime point, which are reaching O point from the S prime point sources, is equal to lambda by 2, because at O point we have a bright fringe due to S, and for interference pattern to vanish, the dark fringe must overlap with the bright fringe of the another point source. So at O point we have a bright fringe, and at the same point we must have a dark fringe due to S prime. Only then interference pattern will vanish. So in that case only the interference pattern, we will not have any interference pattern on the screen. So that will be observed only when the path difference, the light which is reaching the point O from the S prime point, have a path difference of lambda by 2. So now we want to find out the expression of S prime S2 minus S prime S1. Because the path difference between the light rays reaching O point from S prime point source is nothing but equal to S prime S2 minus S prime S1, because path traveled by this light ray is equal to S prime S2 plus S2O. So S prime S2 plus S2O is the path traveled by this light ray from S prime point source, and the other light ray travels a path of S prime S1 plus S1O. So what will be the path difference? It will be equal to this length minus this length, and that length must be equal to, that difference must be equal to lambda by 2. So when you will solve it, you will be able to cancel S2O with S1O. So when you will subtract the path which is traveled by the two light rays reaching O point from the S prime point source, so when you will calculate it, you will see that S1O will cancel with S2O. So path difference will be nothing but equal to S prime S2 minus S prime S1. So now we are going to find out the expression of S prime S2 and S prime S1. So path difference is equal to S prime S2 minus S prime S1, and for interference pattern to vanish, this path difference must be equal to lambda by 2. In that case only at O point we will have a dark fringe. So now we are going to find out the expression of S prime S2 and S prime S1. So S prime S2 is this length. So what is this length? So first of all we will draw a horizontal line in this manner. Now what is this length? This length is nothing but equal to small l. So this length is nothing but equal to small l. Now we are looking at this triangle only. So we are just looking at this triangle. So this length is equal to small l, and what is this length? This is equal to d by 2. Because this whole length S1 S2 is equal to d, so this is just half of the S1 S2 length. So this will be nothing but equal to d by 2. So this overall length is equal to L plus d by 2. So this length of the right angle triangle, this length is equal to L plus d by 2. And this length we have already considered is equal to capital D, and we are just going to find out the hypotenuse because we want to find S prime S2. So S prime S2 will be nothing but equal to under root of d square plus L plus d by 2 whole square. So we will use the Pythagoras theorem, and in the similar manner we will find out S prime S1. So we want to find out this length S prime S1. So in that case we will take this triangle, this right angle triangle. So this length will be nothing but equal to d by 2 minus L. So this is the length d by 2 minus L will give us this small length. And this length, the distance between the extended source and the double slit is equal to capital D. So using again the Pythagoras theorem, you will be able to find S prime S1. For a particular separation between S and S prime, for a particular separation between these 2 point sources, the maximum due to S and minima due to S prime fall on each other. So for a particular separation, as we have said that S will make its own interference pattern and S prime will make its own interference pattern on the screen. So one particular distance between S and S prime can be achieved when the interference pattern will completely vanish, means the maxima of one will fall on the minima of the another. So the interference pattern is washed away in that particular situation, and that will happen when S prime S2 minus S prime S1 is equal to lambda by 2. So this we have already seen. So this difference is equal to lambda by 2, and S prime S2 we have already calculated. This is equal to d square using Pythagoras theorem plus d by 2 plus L whole square under root, so power 1 by 2. So this is the length S prime S2 minus the length S prime S1. So that will come out to be d square plus d by 2 minus L whole square power 1 by 2 is equal to lambda by 2. So this difference must be equal to lambda by 2. So now we are going to do a little mathematics over here. So over here, let's take this d square outside of the under root. So here we have the under root. So we will take d square outside the under root and it will become just capital D. So we have taken d square outside, and here we have 1 by 2, the power is 1 by 2. So when you will take d square outside, it will be d square power 1 by 2, and that will be nothing but equal to capital D. So inside the bracket we have taken d square outside, so it will be 1, the expression will be, first term will be 1 plus, and on the second term we will have 1 by d square, and rest of the term will remain as it is. So we are just about to use binomial theorem. We are going to use binomial expansion over here, and for binomial expansion we must have 1 plus x power n. So this is 1 plus x power n. Therefore we have taken d square outside, and in the second term also we will take d square outside, and we will get capital D, 1 plus 1 by d square d by 2 minus L whole square power 1 by 2, and that must be equal to lambda by 2. Now over here, the length L, the distance between S and S prime sources, this length must be, this is very less than capital D. So extended source, so capital D is the distance between the extended source and the double slit. So the distance between the extended source and the double slits, that distance is very large as compared to the distance between the point sources S and S prime. So using this condition, we will use the binomial theorem. So binomial theorem states that if you have 1 plus x power n, so that is nothing but equal to 1 plus nx plus n into n minus 1 divided by 2 factorial into x square, and so on. You have higher order terms. But over here, this L is very small as compared to capital D. So in that case, we will neglect the higher order terms. The higher order terms will be neglected in that case. If L is very small as compared to capital D, so obviously this x, so this is x over here, 1 plus x, and over here we have 1 plus x. So here we have 1 plus x power n. So this is the actual expansion that you use, but over here in our case L is very less as compared to capital D, means this expression L is very less as compared to capital D. So this expression will be very small, means x will be very small. So if x is small, in that case we can neglect the higher order terms. So we will just have 1 plus nx. So in the first expression, x is equal to 1 by d square d by 2 plus L whole square, and in the second term x is equal to 1 by d square d by 2 minus L whole square. So now we are going to use this expansion, and n is equal to 1 by 2. In both the cases n is equal to 1 by 2. Now we are going to use the binomial expansion on each term. So capital D will remain as it is, and 1 plus x power n is nothing but equal to 1 plus nx. So we are using only the first two terms. So we have 1 plus nx. So 1 plus n into x. N is equal to 1 by 2 into x. X is equal to this one. So 1 by d square d by 2 plus L whole square minus capital D as it is. Then 1 plus x power n. So it will be equal to 1 plus nx. 1 plus n is equal to 1 by 2 into x. So for second term x is equal to 1 by d square d by 2 minus L whole square. So that must be equal to lambda by 2. So when you will solve it, so you will expand it, open the bracket. So d plus 1 by 2d into d by 2 plus L whole square minus capital D minus 1 by 2d into d by 2 minus L whole square, that must be equal to lambda by 2. So this will cancel with this one, and 1 by 2d can be taken outside. 1 by 2d is common in these two terms. So you will have d by 2 plus L whole square. This term will come as it is, minus this term will come as it is. So that will be d by 2 minus L whole square. So it is just mathematics. So when you will solve it, so you will get 1 by 2d as it is, and you will get 4d by 2 into L is equal to lambda by 2. So you can open these two terms, or you can use the formula of a square minus b square. So you will get 1 by 2d as it is, 4 into d by 2 into L, and that must be equal to lambda by 2. So from here you can calculate the expression of L. So L will come out to be equal to, from here this expression L will come out to be equal to lambda into capital D divided by twice of small d. So this is the distance between the S and S prime. This must be the distance when the interference pattern between the interference pattern of the two sources will completely vanish, means the maxima of one will fall on the minima of the another and vice versa. So this must be the length between the two sources. So the distance between the two sources S and S prime must be very less as compared to this length. The distance between the two sources S and S prime must be very less as compared to this length. Only then the interference pattern will be of a good visibility. So what do we want? We want an interference pattern of a very good visibility. But if the length is exactly equal to this expression, if the distance between S and S prime, or you can say the thickness of the extended source, is equal to this one, in that case the interference pattern will not be of good visibility and the interference pattern will completely vanish, means no interference pattern will be observed. But for a good phase correlation, we are going to find out the distance between the two sources such that there is a good phase correlation between them, and good phase correlation is maintained only when the interference pattern is of good visibility. The interference pattern made by the source is of good visibility. Only then the two sources are said to have a good phase correlation. But if the length is equal to, if the distance is equal to this much, then the interference pattern vanishes, means the distance between S and S prime, or you can say the thickness of the extended source should be very less as compared to this expression, means the distance L, it must be very smaller as compared to lambda into capital D divided by small d. So the distance between S and S prime must be very less as compared to, or you can say the thickness of the extended source. Thickness of the extended source must be very less as compared to lambda into capital D divided by small d. So this is the condition when the interference pattern by an extended source is of good visibility. Now in this case you can take small d on the left hand side. Small d must be very less than lambda into capital D divided by small l. So now over here L by capital D, L divided by capital D is nothing but the angle subtended by the source at the slits. So as we had seen that this was the double slit, and over here this was the source capital S and this was S prime, and the distance between the both was equal to small l. And let's say the angle subtended the center over here, this is equal to theta, and this length is equal to small l, and this distance is equal to capital D. So this theta is approximately equal to small l divided by capital D. So using the property of a circle, if we consider this as the arc and this is the radius of the circle, then this theta angle will be L divided by capital D. So this L divided by capital D, this is equal to 1 divided by theta. So over here we will have 1 divided by theta. So D must be very less than lambda divided by theta. So for a good visibility of interference pattern, the distance between the two slits must be very less than lambda divided by theta, and this distance d is called as the transverse coherence length. So this d distance, this is the distance between the two slits. So this d must be very less than lambda divided by theta, and theta is the angle which is subtended by the source at the slits. So angle subtended by the source, this source at the slit, that is equal to theta. So this distance must be very less than lambda divided by theta, and this distance is called as the transverse coherence length. So if this condition is achieved, only then the interference pattern on the screen will be of good visibility, or you can say the source, all the point sources on the extended source. So here we have just considered S and S prime. So these are a part of the extended source. So if this condition is maintained, if this condition is achieved, then all the point sources on the extended source, all the point sources on the extended source will have a good phase correlation with each other, and the interference pattern will be of good visibility in that case.